would get that in.
Cool. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes, we can now, or I can now.
So I'm getting the green lights. Everyone can hear me and everyone can see me. Brilliant. Well, first of all, thank you very much, everyone, for joining this evening. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you. I now live in Hampshire, and the Vonage head office is in Basingstoke, but I lived in Birmingham for 5 years myself, and it's where I went to university. So it's a place close to my heart, and my brother still lives. Many of you won't have come across Vonage before. Myself, Vonage, 2011. Prior to Vonage, I worked in an outsourced contact center using the Vonage contact center technology, and just sheer chance, I used the technology as a supervisor and as administrator, and then there was a job opening at Vonage, and here I am 9 years later managing the sales team for Vonage. The focus of the session today is not to talk to you about Vonage and who we are into too much detail. It's very much to focus on our native contact center application inside of Dynamics. So our platform natively integrates with the Sales Hub, the Service Hub, Workspace, and OCS. And our real kind of unique selling point is Dynamics owns the channels and the 360-degree view, and enterprise contact centers in this space, like ourselves, Genesys, Avaya, Cisco, need to be able to offer a native experience inside of that Dynamics interface. So Neil's demonstration was really showing the power of omni-channel with Dynamics and where that's going. And we are plugging in natively to that platform via CIF version 2, and we're going to show a live demonstration with Rodolfo today. Jim's going to be supporting with a pub quiz later. You might notice I'm wearing a Vonage hoodie. We have Vonage running gear. We've got water bottles and other giveaways. So we might have some slightly better prizes than that as well. But Jim's going to be running a pub quiz after the event. For those of you who don't know Vonage, we are a cloud communications company, and we started our life as a contact center provider here in the UK as a company called New Voice Media. So that's the company I work for. And as all good high-tech UK companies, once you start delivering on a global scale, you get bought by a big American provider. So New Voice Media are a global contact center provider, but we got purchased for $350 million from Vonage. Vonage are on the NASDAQ. We have 2,600 employees, but 600 of our employees are here in the UK, so across Basingstoke and our London offices. We are working different shapes and sizes, or a contact center or an inside sales team, or it could be a 1,000-seat contact center like DPD who are handling parcel delivery services, or it could be the RSPCA where they're managing their animal welfare line across the UK. So would you believe the RSPCA get 1.8 million calls a year on animal welfare cases, and we have a native integration with their CRM and are managing all of those calls for the RSPCA across the UK to manage that case management. And we can talk about in a bit more detail if you like about the customers, but what we're really here to see is what the solution offers. So fingers crossed the screen has built up here. As I said, I sat in a contact center. I was taking inbound calls and making outbound calls every single day. I used a case management solution like Dynamics. And what always used to be the problem is the phone system or the email solution used to sit outside of where your customer data sits. The world has changed, and it's now very simple to add via the App Store a component like Vonage to your Dynamics interface. So I log into Vonage via Dynamics. I have single sign-on with Azure, so I'm logged into Dynamics, and you'll see the Vonage interface natively within Dynamics. But what are the core kind of services that we offer? The first is inbound voice. We've all called a contact center. You get a welcome message. You may press 1 for this, 2 for that. We can queue calls. We can keep your place in the queue and give you a call back. We can even do self-service and virtual assistance. So we have a virtual assistant AI solution as well. So you're able to potentially even self-service your inquiries before you get through to an agent, before routing the calls. So if I use DPD as an example, DPD, one of our customers, tried delivering to me yesterday. I missed it. I was out. They sent me a parcel reminder, say they're going to try and deliver it tomorrow. I decided to call in to DPD, who use the Vonage services, and they asked for me for my unique delivery reference number. I typed in my delivery reference number, and then the Vonage service did a data dip into their case management system, let's say Dynamics, and it played back saying, we see that you have a delivery for tomorrow between 10 and 11. Is that what you're calling about? I press 1 for yes. Would you like to change your delivery time slot? I press 1. The Vonage system played back available time slots that I could change my delivery to. And then I was able to change my delivery time slot to a time that I was available to. And that's the beauty of our solution. It's not the fact that we're just doing inbound call routing and inbound screen pop, click to dial, login calls. We're able to interrogate any data inside of your CRM system to make an intelligent decision on how we handle that call. So can we self-serve? If the answer is yes, we'll give them the option to change their delivery time slot like I did. And I didn't even have to speak to an agent. And the Vonage system is so intelligent, we can even input that data into Dynamics to say that this was the self-service conversation that we had. But we are going to show you the agent interface. So that screen pop, login calls, the ability to have surveying and push survey results into Dynamics. We're also going to show you omnichannel as well, that the fact that we can not only handle phone calls inside of Dynamics, but we can queue phone calls, email, web inquiry, all inside the Dynamics interface. So we'll be able to screen pop not just a case record or a contact record. We'll even be able to, screen pop a web inquiry and queue that to the appropriately skilled user to handle that call. And the beauty of our application, we are phone system agnostic. So all we need is a direct dial number to route calls to. So we have a native integration into Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business, which means that you don't have to use our phone system to deliver the calls. We just provide the Dynamics integration. So, for a user, we have single sign-on with Dynamics. We have presence sync for Skype for Business. We have Active Directory sync, so you can transfer calls to Teams members, but you still sit natively inside of Dynamics. And then the final piece that we'll touch on is the real-time reporting and historical reporting that we can push into Power BI. So, we are a really strong enterprise contact center solution. We have skills-based routing, workforce management, speech analytics to transcribe call recordings, but we can push this all into Dynamics and have Dynamics as the full 360-degree view. And finally, we'll just touch on the sales story. So not only is it customer service, but we also have the ability to sell to inside sales teams. So click to dial, login calls, integration with the Dynamics Cadence tool. And we're all going to show that in our demonstration today. And then just before I move into the demonstration, just going to talk to you the flow that you're going to see from Rodolfo on the call today. So, the first call is going to be an inbound call, and we're going to create a new case automatically inside of Dynamics. We're going to log that call, and we're going to report on that call. The second call is going to be an existing case where we're going to play back information automatically to you of information from Dynamics. The second is going to be I'm browsing on your website and I'm showing interest and I fill in a web inquiry form. We're then going to show how that looks when we present that web inquiry form inside of Dynamics. We're then going to move into the outbound story, where we're going to do an outbound call via click to dial. We're then going to auto disposition the call and do a voicemail drop. And then we're going to show you the reporting and the dashboards. So Rodolfo, I've left you about 20 to 25 minutes to cover that. And fingers crossed that wasn't too wordy. But you're going to see a live demonstration now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And what is, I will handle the chat. So whilst Rodolfo is doing the presentation, I can answer any questions for the chat. And Rodolfo, you can just continue on your flow, and I'll make sure I answer all the chat questions as they come in. All right, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Martin. Thanks. Thank you very much. And first of all, yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and also please tell me that you are able to see it, and we will start as soon as you see my screen. So you should be able to see my Dynamics demo org. Right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So 20 seconds about me before I start with the demo. So my name is Rodolfo Box. I am sales engineer here by Vonage since March 2019. I usually support the DACH region, but when needed, as this is the case right now, I also support other EMEA regions like UK. I hope and you confirm me that you are seeing my screen here right now, and I will start with the demo. Yeah, okay. Before I start with the demo, I am aware of my accent. It's a very thick Spanish accent. So in case that something is not clear, what I'm going to be demonstrating, I'm going to be clarifying. No worries, please interrupt me. If it needs to be in the chat or if it needs to be over the voice channel, do it. I will repeat it. I will tell it again. I will tell it in a different way, or in Spanish if needed, or in German, or if I need to do it in gestures, I will do it in gestures. But bottom line is that you understand our integration within Dynamics. That is a native integration, as Martin told, and where we want that Dynamics is the agent desktop and the supervisor desktop. We do not want to own the user experience. Let's talk in more showing. So perhaps we need translation time again. I want to bring your attention, first of all, to the right-hand side of my screen, where I have my Vonage contact pad. As Martin told, we are able to leverage and use single sign-on. For the purpose of this demo, I want to show you that our credentials also work. So I'm going to be logging in the contact pad. And also refresh my browser for this demo. And yeah, we are aware about our footprint. We know that we consume a lot of space within the Dynamics interface. We are working on that most likely within the next release that will be released, I think, in February, March next year. We will solve this space consumption as a workaround for the users to not be bothered or annoyed by our contact pad. You can always at any time hide the contact pad, the Vonage contact pad. Here is mainly where the agents are going to handle the interactions. Very short description about it. The status menu, what you are seeing right now is the out-of-the-box standard statuses that come with a Vonage contact center solution. This is fully customizable, and you can customize the statuses as per the business needs of your customers. The option to make a call manually, although we do not recommend this, as you will be seeing in the demo, you can leverage click to call out of an existing record within existing object, I should tell, within Dynamics. And two more settings. So I'm going to be carrying out this demo using WebRTC, what means that I will be handling the calls out of the web browser together with my headset. In case that I want to have any sort of hardware support, I do not trust my internet connection today for whatever reason, I just need to remove the checkbox, enter in the telephone number field whatever number I want to receive or handle the telephone from. So this may be a landline, and this may be my cell phone, or this may be my corporate phone. And the audio will be delivered to that hardware support. And finally, I'm as an agent, I have the possibility to choose to pick up which outbound number, which number I want to present to my customers when I am dialing out. That means that, for example, I am based in Germany and I want to present my customers a German CLID. There are studies that show that the pickup rate increases up to 40% if your customers are seeing a local number instead as, for example, presenting a German customer or a customer in Birmingham, a CLID from Madrid, for example. Anyways, let me jump into the first scenario. I'm going to go to status ready. And I'm going to be making an inbound call to the system. I will be impersonating the customer, Sebastian Jacobi. The idea is that you hear an initial greeting in the IVR, followed by a menu in which I will be choosing to directly speak to my personal account manager. I don't want to be waiting in the queue. I don't want to be waiting in for the next available agent, but I want to speak to my contact owner.
Hello, and thank you for calling the Vonage Dynamics 365 Service Demo line. Please press 1 to speak to an agent, or the number 2 to open or review an existing case.
So pressing 1 right now. Accepting the call and also muting myself because I don't want to have a horrible echo problem here. And what you are seeing, I am impersonating the agent and also the customer at this stage, is that as an agent, I am receiving on my screen the contact entity that was right now calling. This is something that Martin has clarified before in the explanation. So for every single inbound call, Vonage is going to make a lookup within Dynamics, looking for entities containing the customer CLID. Customer CLID is nothing more than the customer number, the number that I am using for calling into the service line. We are going to pull that information in real time in IVR time, and we are able to leverage that information for routing purposes. What here has occurred is that between the fields that we pull in IVR time, we pull the contact owner, and instead of pushing this call into the service line, we have bypassed the queue and we have directly route this call to the personal account manager, contact owner that is handling this account. Concerning the layout that you are seeing on my screen, this is fully customizable. This is Dynamics. This does not look like, for example, like the Dynamics org that Neil was showing 10 minutes ago. The only best practices that we recommend to our customers is to include within the layout the timeline, because in this way, the agent is able to have at a glance as an overview of the different interaction that this customer was having with the company previously. For example, you can see that I was testing every 30 minutes today that this was working, or even every 20 minutes. I'm going to hang up and I want to show the second scenario in which I'm going to be picking up a case. And after those two inbound scenarios, we will wrap up, and I think that Martin is going to give a summary about the inbound use cases. So let me wrap up, go to status ready, save this, and go to my dynamic dashboards. And again, call in the service line. Again, you will hear the same initial greeting, but in this case, I'm going to pick up 2. And you will see that, you will hear, better said, that in real time, in IVR time, we are going to pull the information of the existing cases, and we are going to play this to the customer for the customer to choose which case he wants to speak about. So let me call again in the service line.
Hello, and thank you for calling the Vonage Dynamics 365 Service Demo line. Please press 1 to speak to an agent, or the number 2 to open or review an existing case.
So this time pressing 2.
I have found a case with the subject of please extend the Office 365 subscription. Press 1 if you are calling about this case, 2 for a different case, or 3 if it's a new issue.
So in this case, I want to speak about this existing case. And again, you see that I automatically go to status busy inbound, and that instead of popping up the Let me again mute myself because I hear myself 3 times. Instead of popping up the contact entity, we have, in this case, popped up the existing case, please extend the Office 365 subscription, as it was played in the IVR. So the main benefits of popping up the suitable entity within Dynamics are two. First of all, well, of the solution, better said. First of all, for the agent, the agent has some context about the inbound call. It's not blind. We are doing here this so-called dynamic routing. So we are leveraging in real time the fields contained within Dynamics for pushing this call to the suitable case owner in this case. And for the customer, we are providing a personalized experience, because instead of going to a queue in which he needs to explain his problem again and again and again and suffer a lot of transfers, okay, we read in real time that we have found a case. Please extend the Office 365 subscription. Do you want to speak about this case? Yes, perfect. So providing this personalized experience, we push this call to the case owner. So this is what I wanted to speak about the inbound scenario. Well, I realized I forgot something. So this is a very basic scenario to start a conversation. So I want to remark that we are able to speak to any single standard or custom entity within your organization. And actually, for wrapping up, I will be showing a custom entity that we have configured here that are the post-call surveys. Just imagine that the agent was able to solve this case that was open for several days. So if I now press release and go on speakers, you will hear the post-call survey that is going to be played after call termination.
Thank you again for calling the Vonage Dynamics 365 service demo line. Were we able to resolve your issue today? Please press 1 for yes, 2 for no.
So let's imagine that I solved the problem.
And on a scale of 1 through 5, please rate your experience with us today.
And yeah, this is a demo, so I need to give a 5.
Thank you. We appreciate both your time and your patronage.
So final section of this scenario, we have completed the post-call survey, and you can see here on the left-hand side that I have popped the post-call service within my Dynamics org. We can already see that we have pushed this information in Dynamics. This is the post-call survey in CET time, so I am in Munich, so it's 6:47 right now in my location in Munich. And that we have here gathered the information that our customer provided after the call termination. So I told that I resolved my issue and that the experience was excellent. Wrapping up, so this is a case in which the scenario has been fantastic, but just imagine that your customer, for whatever reason is not happy with the experience. So you can easily leverage Power Automate and just push those leads who are not happy into a cadence for those leads to receive a call from the company as per business needs. For example, we have created here a cadence, sales accelerator, in which some hot leads have been already introduced because they were not extremely happy. But that's for later. So wrapping up this case, do you want to tell something, Martin?
Yeah, thanks, Rodolfo, for that first scenario. So the crucial things that you've seen there is 2 inbound calls, but you can customize the experience when people call into you by using any data that you hold inside of Dynamics. Any field, whether that's a VIP checkbox or case owner, we can leverage that information you hold on your customers to automatically route the call to the front of the queue or to the account owner or the last person that you spoke to. Me as a user, I sit natively inside of Dynamics. I receive a screen pop. It logs the call. We provide access to the call recording inside of Dynamics, and then we provide key stats on those calls. So how long was the call? What number did they dial? And provide you key stats on those scenarios. One element, 2 elements we didn't show you today due to time was we have a virtual hold solution where you can keep your place in the queue and receive an automatic callback. And the second is we're PCI Tier 1 compliant. So if your customers are taking payments over the phone, we can integrate with your payment gateway supplier and automatically take payments over the phone, where instead of your agent typing in the card details, you would ask the customer to enter their card details via their keypad. So we de-scope the risk for your customers of taking card payments over the phone natively inside of Dynamics. Over to you, Rodolfo, for the second scenario, which is moving on from an inbound call to a web inquiry. So showing it's not just voice calls, it's multiple channels.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, so moving forward, so I have already prepared actually the real-time views that also Martin mentioned before. I have set my agent in status away, and let's imagine that I continue to be Sebastian Jacobi, that I have another inquiry, and that I go to the web form of the company, and I need further Office 365 licenses for my company. So let me enter here the details. I'm Sebastian Jacobi. I am using for this demo my corporate email address. I hope it's right. Sebastian Jacobi, yeah, this is my corporate email address. So let's tell further Office 365 licenses needed. And as a description, 3 new starters need an Office 365 license. So as a customer, Sebastian Jacobi, with this email address, I am submitting this new case. Okay, response submitted. Let me go back to my Dynamics org. Usually this takes between 15 to 20 seconds to come into the system. I am mapping, I am monitoring here in real time my queues. I have here my email to case queue that hopefully works. This is a real demo, so we need some thriller. And well, you see that currently there are no cases waiting in the email queue. And now we see that this flips. Now we have one case that has been automatically assigned to my agent. I see it here in my contact path. If I go to ready, I am automatically changed to busy inbound. And what I can see here is that this web inquiry has been already routed to my agent. Well, you are familiar with Omnichannel. Neil gave a fantastic presentation of Omnichannel before. Main benefits of routing the Omnichannel, the digital interactions over Vonage instead of over Dynamics are two. First of all, you see that we are not leaving at any time the Dynamics interface, that Dynamics is the agent desktop. But as we are routing and handling these interactions, digital interactions over our engine, we are able to prioritize the voice channel over the digital channels. Just imagine that we only route the voice, meanwhile Dynamics routes the digital channels. When an agent goes available and there is one chat, 2 emails, and 1 voice interactions waiting in the queue, it's a matter of which engine is the quickest one. So the quickest engine is going to get the resource, and in that case, it's not possible to prioritize the voice interactions over the digital channels. Second benefit is that if you have a single routing engine routing all channels, no matter if they are digital or voice, you will have much more consolidated reports. And apart from that, well, I think that the scenario is very similar. We have done this with an email. It has been routed to the case to the account owner because I was impersonated Sebastian Jacobi, and Sebastian Jacobi is mapped to my corporate email address. We use, again, in Vonage, that information contained within Dynamics 365. So that account owner is Rodolfo Castilla. And instead of pushing this information, pushing this case to the next available agent, we have directly send this case to Rodolfo Castilla for him to handle this inquiry. Any further feedback, Martin?
Thanks, Rodolfo. So to be clear, what's happened there is we can handle not just voice, but we can also queue emails, web inquiries, and chat natively inside the Dynamics interface. We provide real-time reporting across your different channels, so you can see how many calls, emails, web inquiries are in the queue. And we are leveraging email to case and web to case for Dynamics to populate that. So we're also excited for OCS to deliver a presence integration. So what we're looking to deliver is a presence integration into that omni-channel component that hasn't yet been released by Microsoft Dynamics, but our omni-channel solution works within Sales Hub, Service Hub, Workspace, and also in the OCS component. So we'll be able to queue not just phone calls, but emails and web inquiries in a single interface. And the final point that Rodolfo mentioned is capacity. So voice is one-to-one. You can't handle more than one voice interaction, but with the likes of Workspace, we can set a capacity. So let's say Neil is a very skilled agent. He might be able to handle 3 emails all at once, whereas me, I'm not so skilled. I can only handle 2 emails at once. Inside of Workspace, you can have multiple tabs to be working on multiple interactions all at once. So it's not a one-to-one relationship. You have the ability to manage multiple channels at once based on your skill and capacity. So, you know, we can assign a skill tag of Rodolfo can speak Spanish and English, whereas Martin can only speak English. So Martin would only see phone calls and emails in English. Rodolfo will see phone calls, emails, web inquiries for Spanish and English. Sorry, Rodolfo. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Martin. So yeah, so I'm going to lead with Martin's explanation because he mentioned the part of the reporting part. And let's go to my contact, Sebastian Jacobi. Can you mute, Martin? Please.
Martin, we have a question. Does this work for online and on-premise instances?
So we're a multi-tenanted cloud solution. So we are web-based and it works with Dynamics 365. So that's the version that we're working with. We can route calls to any direct dial number. So that could be an on-premise phone system that you have, or you can use a cloud PBX. So that's why we can deliver calls to Teams or even a via handset if you wish. All we need is a phone number to route calls to. So, you know, for home working, it's perfect. We can route calls to a home landline, a mobile, Teams, but still have that native integration into Dynamics alongside your real-time reporting and visibility. Does that answer your question, Andy?
Martin, chip in if you want, Andy. I think Andy would probably talk not so much about the telephony solution, but about Dynamics 365, because that can be on-premise or online. And
That's
often
correct. That was the question.
Some of the online features aren't available on-prem. Was that you, Andy? Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, that was the question about whether it's supported on the on-premises version. I know lots of people are moving away from it. It was just an interest.
I was just Googling to see if I could found something that proved it. So from a Dynamics point of view, what would be important is the channel integration framework is available on-premise, and then that could connect to Vonage, which may or may not be using cloud services to deliver the telephony, but Dynamics itself would be on-prem. I believe that's possible, but I haven't found anything just that confirms that.
Yeah. Thanks.
I have another question.
Sorry, chip if you want, Martin. If I'm right or wrong, or you knew something I don't.
You are correct. Yes, Neil. Go for it, Andy.
Sorry.
So the second question is, you know, for the second scenario where the incoming call, they routed it to a case. Those rules that you define to match the call to the case, are those configurable and
completely configurable, and they're managed again via the Vonage Admin that you can see on the left-hand side. So you have the ability to create new users and then drag and drop different skills to different users. So as I said before, Rodolfo may have a skill of he can speak English well and Spanish well, but his written English could be poor. So you may not tag him a skill of being able to respond to emails in English. So it is completely unique per channel, if that makes sense. So Rodolfo can handle only English phone calls and Spanish phone calls and emails and web inquiries, whereas Martin can handle English phone calls and English emails and chat, and will only deliver the email to the person with the right skill to deliver that. So again, via that web inquiry form, we can use any field to assign a skill. So if it's the Spanish website, we would deliver it to a Spanish agent, or you may have a drop down to say which language would you like to speak to us in today, and then it would assign a skill based on the email they've come from, they've emailed you on, or the fields filled in within the web inquiry. Does that answer the question?
No, I think the question is, if the phone came in, a phone call came in, and obviously you said, is it this case, is it this case, is it this case? What I'm trying to do is making sure that the case doesn't, if the case is not related to the incoming person, you're not showing another person's case to, do you understand what I'm saying? Can you control that?
So we find the case only by two bits of information. One is the phone number that you've called from. So if you have a unique mobile phone number, we will see if there's a case associated to that. The second way is you enter a unique reference number. So like the DPD scenario, I enter my unique 8-digit reference number. It does a lookup inside of Dynamics, and then we automatically route the call to that person. So unless someone's phone number that isn't associated to that case is associated to that case accidentally, there's no reason why we would be presenting cases for different customers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
I assume you'd be expecting the agent to qualify they are talking to the right person before going into details anyway, that it's only the case title that you look up, isn't it? Or divulge.
Correct. And you can always search and choose a different case or contact to work on. Let's be honest, not everyone's data is clean. So our screen pop success rate for customers is typically 50%. So there's always a bit of a margin for error there that we're not going to get a match. But the feature of the ability to create a brand new case, if you don't have any details, is also useful for our customers to make sure they're logging calls appropriately. Sorry, Rodolfo.
Good. Well, usually I respond those questions, but I see, Martin, that I do not need to pay attention to, to the questions then. Thanks for the help in any case. So I'm going to move to the next scenario, what is login, reporting, and recording, and I will finish and wrap up with the without managed scenario. So basically, something I forgot to mention, and that also Martin has not still told, is that for any single outbound or inbound call or outbound or inbound interaction that is routed over the Vonage ACD engine or the Vonage engine, after interaction termination, we are going to log an activity against the suitable record that we were using during that interaction. I have brought back again to my screen Sebastian Jacobi, and you can see in the timeline, actually, the non-live interaction that I have routed here, which was the case, as well as the inbound interactions, the inbound calls that I made over the course of this demo. So if I go to the activity itself, we can see here that the call KPIs have been already automatically logged within Dynamics. So I can see, for example, when this call was made, what was the call duration in seconds, which number I was calling from, or which number did my customer dial in order for the customer to get in contact, to get in touch with the company, which agent.
5 minutes are coming.
Which agent was handling the call. And also we have here the link to the call recording. So if I call for reporting supervisor purposes, if I click on that link, I already have here our call recorder, call recording player, in which I can play those recordings, post those recordings, download them locally in WAV format, or even as a supervisor, if I am listening to a recording, I am able to provide feedback to my agents for questions or issues or matters that were properly handled or that need improvement. For example, at this timestamp, I can attach a note as a supervisor, like a very good answer at this stage. And add it as a note. Only to mention that these call recordings are not stored within Dynamics; they are stored in our data center, so they are not consuming space within the CRM. And also, most likely, you are seeing here that, well, we have an analyzer tool that is able to transcribe the conversations once they are finished. Well, of course, in this conversation, there was silence because I muted myself. I can see here the 3 questions that were made for the post-call survey. But what I have done is I have recorded a good example in which you can see the power of our conversation analyzer tool. Let me bring it to screen. This is a good example. Not actually, it was not recorded by me. Actually, it was recorded by a colleague, in which you can see that a supervisor or an administrator defines categories and subcategories in accordance with the business needs. And within these subcategories, you can configure specific keywords or key sentences that you want to monitor within the conversations. These keywords and key sentences, once they are spotted out, once our analyzer tool is able to find them out in the conversation, they appear color-coded, attached to the specific timestamp within the recording for monitoring and training purposes, for example. So if I go to this, please stay on the line circle, and I click on it, I am automatically moved to the specific timestamp within the conversation, within the transcription, in which I can see that the agent was telling, please stay on the line. But also I can see that the call recording player has automatically moved to that specific timestamp in which the agent in this case was mentioning, please stay on the line. This information is also available in our API, and it can be pulled, it can be pushed into Dynamics, into Power BI, for example, for reporting purposes, in order for administrators to create dashboards. Furthermore, if you are not happy with these categories or subcategories that you have configured before, and you have other business units, or you have more categories or more specific questions or keywords that are mentioned over the course of the conversations, you are able to configure those and afterwards reanalyze the calls so that the new categories or keywords or key sentences will appear again attached to this call recording. Well, this example is in English. We have up to, I took a look this morning, we have up to 22 different languages that our conversation analyzer tool is able to transcribe. Apart from that, Martin, anything you want to add to this business analytics tool?
No, I think a couple of questions have been just around storage. So we can store for as long as you like on our platforms. Every package includes a minimum of 30 days. But as I say, the Financial Conduct Authority store for up to 14 years. Call recordings on our platform. You know, we're ISO 27001 compliant for data security and also PCI Tier 1 compliant for taking payments over the phone. So I guess rest assured, we work with the FCA within their whistleblowing line. So if you're telling on your financial organization that you work on, it's them who you raise the case with and manage that case. So security is of the essence. But yeah, I think Rodolfo, you covered all the key points there. But if there's any more questions, please do ask in the chat or on here. Sorry, Rodolfo.
Or on here, yes. Yeah, so I am mindful with the time. So let's quickly move to the last scenario, which is the outbound one. Let's now imagine again that the agent was able to add those 3 licenses to the org of Sebastian Jacobi, and now the agent wants to follow up on that matter. So out of the box, once you install the Vonage Contact Center solution within Dynamics, click to call is going to be automatically activated for every single field containing a number in E164 format. That means that the telephone number needs to have the prefix. And as you see here, the icon is already activated within this contact entity. As I'm going to be calling a customer in Germany, I want to present a German CLID, in this case as an agent, as I showed before. I'm going to be presenting a Frankfurt CLID. And just so let me impersonate the agent, trigger the outbound call. You see that I am going busy outbound. And if you are able to see my camera, you see that I am presented with a CLID from Frankfurt. Let's imagine that for whatever reason, the customer is not available at this moment. So I just leave a voicemail here as an agent in order for me to not be repeating again and again the same words when I leave a message to the customer. The voicemail is a pre-recorded WAV file that can be uploaded by the agent using the voicemail drop feature in order for the agent, this was a very personalized call, so perhaps the agent wants to give a personalized, a personal voicemail. But if the agent, for example, is within that sales accelerator cadence that I have been showing before, and this is a part of an outbound campaign, the agent can pre-record a message, and instead of repeating again and again the same message every time he hits an answering machine or a voicemail, just clicking on that button, clicking on that option, is going to save the agent time and is going to auto disposition the call with the call outcome voicemail drop. I think with this scenario, we cover all scenarios we wanted to cover for this demo. I'm not sure if we still have time for very briefly show the administration portal. Martin, do you think we have time, or we should just wrap up?
Probably worth pausing there. I think just to demonstrate what we've shown there on the sales scenario, it's driving efficiency. So click to dial, automatically log the call, display the right outbound phone number to increase pickup rates, have a voicemail drop to save time, not having to repeat yourself time and time again, and then use the quality management and the reporting inside of Dynamics to improve your sales effectiveness. So listen to call recordings, improve the sales pitch, and then have live dashboards and historical dashboards within Dynamics and Power BI to see leaderboards and how your team are performing. So good story there. And a demonstration we did to a local council last week was around an automated dialer around COVID symptoms. We also have a automated dialer with the ability to automatically call out to a list of people via Sales Accelerator, and for them, like an inbound journey, to say, are you feeling symptoms? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, and then we can push that outbound dialer, automated dialer stats back into Dynamics to set off an alert to say this person may have symptoms and they may need a follow-up from a physical human rather than our automated dialer. So I think we'll pause there. I think the administration is important, but I guess the thing to comment on, you can change call flows directly from Dynamics. You can create new users from Dynamics, and you associate skills directly inside of Dynamics. So, Dynamics owns the desktop and owns the channels, and we're just layering all the intelligence in terms of PCI compliance, workforce management, call recording that doesn't currently sit with Dynamics today. And that's kind of adding the two together to have the market leading contact center provider with the market leading CRM system. That's kind of our route to market and what we're pitching on a day-to-day basis. And thank you very much to the community, including Andrew and Neil, who have supported us to get to this point in terms of our integration. And it's an improving picture all the time. But any questions, fire away, and we should be able to answer. Cool. Thank you everyone for that.
Thank you everyone.
So Jim's got a short pub quiz and some prizes for anyone who likes to manage. I don't know, Jim, if you want to start emceeing, or Neil, if you want to pause. It's up to you.
Jim now to start giving us some prizes. Whilst we're doing that, if anybody's got any questions at all on literally anything, we'll randomly talk about anything.
Absolutely. Over to you, Jim.
So I'm ready to go on a pub quiz. I mean, I think these are supposed to be social events. So, I mean, personally, I'm sat here with a nice cocktail with rum in it, and I'm going to settle down for the evening. I am the pub landlord, by the way, so I'm allowed to do that. I suspect, Neil, if people want to stay and spend 20 minutes doing a few quite easy questions and with the chance of winning some swag, we'd love them to stay with us for 20 minutes. But do you guys want to have a little chat first about what you've seen?
Well, I guess, has anybody got any further questions?
I think what's surprising is that I've not heard of it before. I mean, the functionality you've got is absolutely amazing. It really is good, and I just don't think enough people know about it. And
we have a confession to make. So back in 2016, Salesforce Ventures invested $30 million in New Voice Media before we got bought by Vonage. So we have a native integration with Salesforce.com as well. But when Vonage bought us at the end of 2018, they wanted to change that and move us towards Dynamics. So we have over 1,000 customers integrated to Salesforce today, with 40,000 licenses logging in every single day to the platform. We know the space well, and we are the market leading integrated solution with Salesforce. We've seen the market with Dynamics and see Solgari and Cloud Call in the space. We've got 900 developers working on this Dynamics integration along with other product sets. So we are attacking Dynamics aggressively at the moment. So we launched the product at the end of August, and we've seen well over £1 million worth of pipeline created in the space of about 6 weeks, to the point where we're engaging Dynamics directly, account executives, and they're bidding solely with us on omni-channel and contact center opportunities. So we are incredibly excited by what we can offer here. I don't think we're 100% there, but we've been working with Andrew, Neil, other MVPs on what we need to do to improve, and it's all about awareness for us at the moment. I think we have 600 people here to deliver, and we're all contact center experts, but we're not currently Dynamics experts. So all of our team are getting Dynamics certified, and it's all about awareness for us at the moment. But I cannot tell you how excited I am to be moving to the Dynamics community and what we can do here. And we just love the opportunity to speak at events like this. But no, you wouldn't have heard of us unless you were in the Salesforce circles. And the last time I was in Birmingham for work was at a Salesforce user group doing something similar. So, but we are heavily pivoting to